Hey there, Mike. Hope you guys are having a good trip. This is your video lesson for today. There's three things I want to go over in here. If you have any questions at the end, feel free to shoot me over any video you want me to look at or any questions that you have. So the first thing that we'll go over is the tuning for the song, for the song High on Fire. High on Fire is 10,000 years. There, I got it. So before I thought the tune was in drop C tuning, and like you probably could play. You probably could play it in drop C if you wanted to, but High on Fire standard tuning is going to be C standard. So what we're going to do is we're going to tune our guitar. It's going to be like a normal. Like you could play this on a standard tuned guitar and it would sound fine, but it wouldn't be as heavy or as low as the recording would be. So what we're going to do is basically tune everything down 1, 2, 3. We're going to tune everything down 4 frets basically, or 4 half steps. Remember, a half step on the guitar is 1 fret. So we're tuning our guitar down 4 half steps, or if we do the math, 2 whole steps down to C. So imagine that we're like, your standard tuned guitar is like right here at the 12th fret, right? And then we're tuning everything down to like this much lower. So it's like adding on like a few more frets onto the guitar. So what you're gonna do is you're turning and then this guitar, the battery is starting to fade on it. So if the volume goes up or down, we'll kind of have to deal with that. I'm not tuning the other one in drops in C standard because the bridge will fall off. So the first thing you do is you turn your E string, the low E string right here. You're gonna tune that down to a C. So get your chromatic tuner out and tune that one down to a C. If you have guitar tuner, I think you can make like a custom tuning for this if you want. But if you have a chromatic tuner, I would get one of those for since you're gonna be doing like a lot of these kinds of songs. It would be in your best interest to get one of those. So tune this one down to a C, and there goes the volume. Then you go down here to the 5th string and tune that down to a G. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh no, sorry. Sorry, down to an F. Down to an F. There goes the volume. So down C, F. And then you're gonna tune the 4th string down to a B flat or an A sharp, depending on what your tuner says. Remember that the sharp notes and flat notes can have 2 different names, and depending on the situation. So remember we were doing in today, we learned that that this chord is in I forget which one it was. Oh, this one right here, like on the 4th fret is A sharp, and in some situations you can call it it could be A flat or it could be a G sharp. One of those days. So we have A sharp / B flat, 3rd string down, or sorry, 3rd string is we have an E flat / D sharp. So E flat / D sharp. Next string down, you have a G on the 2nd string, and on the 1st string you have a C right there. I've written all that out for you right there. So to get your guitar tuned down. Now what you're going to do when you do this is you're going to have to tune it like 3 times. Because the guitar is used to being in standard, and then all of a sudden you threw it down like super low, it's going to want to sneak back up again. Just like tune it 2 or 3 times, stretch out the strings a little bit, and kind of give them a little shake, and don't pull too hard, and then it should sit in C standard pretty well after that. So the first thing is practicing the slides in this. I like to think of this as like a nice primer for Blood and Thunder or those kinds of songs. Getting used to sliding power chords around the fretboard. So what I would do here for this one is go to the 5th fret, and the first slide I would practice all like the big jumps. Like the small ones aren't too bad. We're still going to practice those, but we want to get started on those big leaps that he kind of does in this song. So he's going to hit 5, and you're going to slide up to an 8. Now when I slide on the guitar, I'm not just blindly shooting up here and hoping I get on the 8th fret. What I do is I look at where I'm going. So I hit the 5. My eyes right now are looking at the 8th fret. The whole arm moves. A lot of people think that, oh, my hand is shifting. No, like the arm is moving up the fretboard. Thumb comes along for the ride. You don't want to do the slide and then do this right here and slide while keeping the thumb stationary. You want the whole thing to move. Otherwise you'll drag. So I hit that 5. I'm going to slide up to 8. I'm looking at it, right? And now I'm looking back down at 5. I'm looking back up at 8. Now I'm looking at 5, right? And then another one you can practice is the 5 to 11 slide. So eyes on where you're going, hit it, slide up. Not too much pressure because you'll drag on the strings. Anyway, so that's the riff, but it's a fun riff to play. I love it. So 5, you look at where you're going. up to 11. You look back down to 5. So you up and down, back and forth. Get practice, use that sliding. Look where you're going. And then another big jump in here, another little small one that we can practice is 11 to 10. And then the biggest jump in the tune is that 5 to 13. So we hit the 5th fret right here. We're going to slide all the way up. So drag there a little bit so you can practice that. Right, eyes on where you're going. It's watching tennis. Right, chords in here. For the next one, for the next teaching point for this one is, since we're shifting around a lot, it'll be in your best interest to know like the chord scale, or the scale that we're working with here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna play it in play it as power chords. So 3, G5. You're lucky because if you're here, I make you spell them all out for me. So G3, A5, 8, 10, 11, 13. Back down those numbers. So we're going to practice knowing like what chords are even in the song, right? Because if you just go, oh, I'll just practice the riff itself, you might kind of, oh, wait a minute, is it 7th fret or 8th fret? Or it's just easier to be able to know, okay, they're kind of like landmarks. And if you know what chords are in the tune and which ones are not, it's going to save you a lot of time when you're shifting around. Because you know, like, oh, it's not 7 or 6, right? It's going down to 5. Right? It'll be easier to memorize the riff too. So one more time, I'll practice just playing. And it'll give you the sound, you'll get that sound of the riff in your ear. I think one of the reasons why this riff is so cool is I was like, oh, it should be like some like pentatonic-y kind of things, right? What's going on? That's like, what you see a lot in doom metal, say like the Black Sabbath stuff. And what I found was it wasn't. I started looking at the chords and I tried to think, okay, which chord sounds like if I end, it's gonna sound good. Because if I play the riff, well, that's not home bass right there. That's not home bass either. And it sounded to me like A is home bass. So that tells me that, hey, the riff is in A. I'm like, okay, A blues, or A minor pentatonic. Oh, wait a minute, that note's not in there. So this is stuff we can talk about, why this riff is cool and how we can replicate it by knowing like what scale he's using, and then you can move that scale around, and then you can play with that and make your own riffs in the style of High on Fire. It's really neat. There's a tritone. It's called a tritone. The Devil in Music. It's in here. It's cool. It's the A to E flat chord is sinister sounding, and I think that's why this riff was like so hip, is because it has that tritone jump in there. It's very demonic. There's like a myth that like they didn't like, it was called the Devil in Music, and then in the Middle Ages they would never write with it because it would summon like demons or some shit like that. But that story's not true. They would have it. They would be in their music all the time. You just gotta resolve it right. Anyway, this music nerd stuff. Cool. So get the chord shapes under your fingers, like which ones are in the tune. That'll help a lot with memorization. Practice shifting up and down, like sliding up and down. And then there's some other cool stuff in there, like Hammer Rolls from Nowhere, that are in the 3rd riff, that I'm super looking forward to getting to. So, all right, man, practice that for me. If you want to send me back a video of you playing through anything, be more than welcome to take a look at that. If not, I will see you same time next time. Take care.